Hi guys, by following our last video, I hope you have successfully installed WordPress and you have installed and activated our DreamVilla multi-property theme inside that. Now, after this, in this video, I'm going to show you that how can we customize this theme properties and we can make our data of that particular theme proper. The first thing which I want you to do is, once you are going to this appearance and then you can click on themes. We know that inside this we were having 4 themes and now we have activated our DreamVilla theme inside that. Once this particular theme is activated, that is applicable on my default WordPress site. I want you to click on theme options, and once we do this thing, inside this theme options we have multiple options from where we can customize theme data. Now we have 2 options. Either we add all the data manually, or otherwise we have some particular demo data which is already available online. Just to show you that where you can add which kind of data, we have this demo data online and you can directly import the data so that in the beginning itself your theme will look proper. And after that, wherever you want to change the data, you can change that thing in the same manner. I suggest if you follow this particular way, this will be much more easier than manually adding everything. For that, first step which I want you to do in this video is you're going to click on demo importer, which is here, and after that the right side section is going to show you import. In my case, I have already imported this thing, so it is showing me that data is already imported, or I want to re-import or not. I'm not going to re-import because normally when we import data from server, this will take some time based on your internet speed. This will download the data from internet and this will add that thing. But once it is successfully imported inside this, the magic is if I go to visit site, I'll get my theme which is having a proper dummy data inside that. You can see my DreamVilla multi-property theme is now applied on my localhost/demo URL. And this one is not empty theme this time. It's having a well-designed header, some navigation bars and multiple values are there. We have multiple properties also added inside this. We have gallery with number of images. We have 2 different home page variations. You can check which home page variation you like more, and based on that you can select your theme customizations. If I click on home page variation 2, you can see this is a second home page which is having a different kind of design and different kind of things inside that. So this is something which I suggest that you import dummy data, so you'll get to know that what is happening in your theme and how the data is actually going to look once we are done with all the things. Somewhere we have sections by which we can search for a particular property, and we have multiple options in that also. Because this is a multi-property theme, we have all these facilities which are required for multi-property. In this video, I'm going to show you that step by step how can we customize these things and how can we add a data inside this. Right now this dummy data looks very good and we have almost everything which is required inside this. Now first, if you see, my header is actually having some text and then we have some icons for the social media and all this thing. Somewhere we have a nav bar, we have a logo of DreamVilla, and then right side section is having something like call us now with the number, and then we have our slider which is also having 2 different variations in 2 different home page. This home page is having a slider with the text on that, and the other one is having, you can see the other one is actually having image with a different manner, and this slider is having a text which is just something like a slogan kind of thing. So whichever you like, it's your choice, but I'm going to show you how can we customize these things. I'm going back to my homepage variation 1. I think I'll open my homepage variation 2 in the new tab so that we can see both parallelly. I'm coming back to my dashboard, and now if you see, somewhere if I click on this first section which is header, you can see this section is allowing you to add your kind of logo, which is visible on the left top corner of our theme. You change that and that will reflect there. Your fave icon, which is actually this one, which is going to be visible on the tab of that particular website. The tagline, which you want to put on the top. And then we have that call us now and that number, which is visible here. If you are dealing with this particular social media and all, you have to go to social options, and there you have to add all the links which are actually going to work at real time. And when runtime, user is going to click on this Twitter or Facebook icon, is actually going to navigate to that particular URL. Suppose if you are not having any one of the social account, and suppose if you are not having Twitter account, then you just need to remove this and you just keep this text box blank. In this case, that particular icon will not be visible here at runtime, and you will have only those in which you have a proper link added. You click on Save Changes and that will reflect that thing on your page. Same way we have a section for the footer and the other page content also. But before I move forward, I want you to see a few things. Like, for example, if I go to my property, you can see there is something like property section in the left side corner, and in this column property I'm going to click on. You can see that once I click on property, it's showing me all the properties which are added in that dummy data. You can click on a particular property. Suppose I'm clicking on this last one, and you can see that is showing me all the property details which are added. So this is something which is the name of that property. Then we have details of that. Somewhere at right side we are mentioning that this particular property is having which kind of categories, which kind of location is there, and all these features which are there inside this particular property. This section is very, very important, because until unless you do not have a proper data with each and every property, that will not work properly. In our case, we have specified all these features and location and all, which is actually going to help my user when he is going to search from this drop downs. You can see that location is going to connect with this drop down, and based on that I can select a particular property and we can search that thing easily. Same way, all of these things somewhere connected with my dummy data. If I scroll down, in this particular property also we have a details for the property, in which if you see we are specifying that what is the price of this property, and in that we are mentioning dollar, and this particular one is actually the same price which is visible on my home page. This slider is showing me few things which are customized from that particular property details. Like this price is coming from this area. You can see we have a property type in which we are mentioning that this is actually for sale or for rent. Whatever you select from this, that will be visible here. If it's for sale, that will be for a sale, otherwise for rent. Same way, the area which is a built-up area for that is also somewhere visible in this property, that what is the area of that inside this, and these things, that how many number of bedrooms and bathrooms and garages are there, that thing is actually somewhere you have to add. If I click on dimensions, I can click on add a bathroom, and you can see we have 2 bathrooms inside that with the proper dimensions, and that's why automatically our theme is actually calculating that how many number of bedrooms and bathrooms and other facilities are there in this property. The moment you do all this proper data, that will look and that will actually connect with the real-time data. Now after this, once we have all this thing, we can add images, we can add the other basic details of the particular property as we have discussed earlier. Now if you come back to this home page, you can see that obviously at real time we will have multiple properties in our project, and at that time deciding that which particular property I want to display on my slider and how many properties I want to display in the slider is one of the very important thing, because this slider is the main attractive part of our theme. For that, you have to go back to this, and in this property section you can see that there is a tab for home page slider. If I click on this, you'll get to know that here we have a option that this particular property will be visible in my slider, yes or no. If you set no, that will not be visible, and if you set yes, you have to give a proper image which will be visible on the home page for that. Same way, exactly below this particular image, you can see we have a slider caption also. This caption is something which I have shown you earlier in my homepage variation number 2. In homepage variation 1, that caption is not there, but if I go to homepage variation 2, you can see that we have this particular text, and this text is actually coming from this slider caption. You can add your HTML tags to make this thing look different, and as per your convenience, you can add and customize that. Same way, when you add multiple properties, you can choose yes in few properties, whichever you want to highlight on that particular home page. And other properties, user will search and they'll get the particular property details at runtime. Now after this, if you see, if I go back to my home page, and somewhere we have this drop down by which we can search a particular property. Somewhere exactly below this, we have a drop down with the name More Filters. And in this, you can check mark the particular thing. And this one is actually showing me all the features which are there in my properties. And based on the feature availability, I can search a particular property. Now, we know that if we go to the particular property, this section is actually showing me all the features. You can check mark and uncheck based on the availability of that particular feature, or if you want to add or remove any particular feature from this list also, that is possible with the help of this left side section in which we have features. If you go to that particular link, you can add any number of features from this. You can add a newer one, or you can delete a particular one or multiple at a time. Coming back to my home page variation 2, this section is actually same and the data is coming from the same, only the UI is different for this section of homepage variation 1 and same for the homepage variation 2. There are a few things which are totally different in homepage variation 2. Like if you see in the second variation of my homepage, we have this section where we are displaying some text, and to display this text properly like this, we are actually providing shortcode in our theme. Now to deal with this, I'm going back to my dashboard, and you can see there is a section for pages. If I click on pages, we have created some dummy pages inside this, and suppose I'm going to open one which is about city estate. I'm going to click on edit. You can see that when I click on edit, this one is actually having this shortcode provided inside that. You can change this customized data, and whatever you're going to change here, this thing will be visible in this homepage variation 2 section, and this will appear properly. Normally these things are actually handled with the help of backend, so you don't need to worry about this thing. If you know WordPress customization, then I think in almost every WordPress themes and websites, we do in the same manner. And same way, we have also organized this thing properly. These things are properly documented inside our documentation, which we are providing with this theme. So I suggest that if you want a proper in-depth customization for this, you please refer that documentation, and I think that will help you the best. Now after this, if I scroll down, then we have a section which is actually services we offer. Now whatever property services which are provided by that particular property is actually listed here, and actually if you see my homepage variation 1, in that we have a different variation for the same thing. Now if you're dealing with this kind of section which is for services, then actually you have to change at 2 different places. If I want to customize this section, I'll go to my pages, and inside this pages, like last time we have edited one of the page which is about city estate. I'm scrolling down, and somewhere we have a page services we offer. If I click on this services we offer page, you can see that this particular page is actually showing me this section and this image, which is actually a feature image which is listed here. So this featured image will be visible here. But remember, this featured image is visible only in my second variation. If you see my first variation, in that it's not like that. Featured image is not visible, only the services and the icons of the services are visible. If you are dealing with this different details of that services, for that you can see left side section is having a tab with the name services. You click on services. In our case, we have added 4 dummy services which are actually listed here, and if I click on a particular one, this is having the detail which is visible at runtime, the title, the detail, and this image is actually coming from the featured image for that particular feature. You can add multiple features like this, and then based on that you can customize these things. So this is something in which you have to customize one page, which is actually for services we offer, and after that for a particular service you have to add multiple services here, and then based on that you can customize that. In this video we have seen some customizations of our theme. The next part is going to show you more. Thank you.